Paris Saint-Germain is about to abandon their beloved Parc des Princes for a brand new multi-billion euro stadium. And guess what? It's all because the mayor of Paris insulted PSG's owners. How did we get to this point? Let's find out how one of the nastiest feuds in sports management history led to the planning of the largest stadium in France and soon-to-be most expensive stadium in Europe. Parc des Princes. If these walls could talk, they'd be chanting "Easy say Paris" endlessly. With a seating capacity of 47,929, this Parisian Coliseum is the stage where PSG's modern identity was born and rose to prominence since it became their home in 1974. Over the decades, Parc des Princes has witnessed some of football's most iconic names lighting up the pitch. Ronaldinho dancing through defenders, Zlatan Ibrahimovic scoring goals like he was playing FIFA on beginner mode, and Kylian Mbappé breaking speed limits. Let's not forget the heated rivalries like Le Classique against Marseille, where every touch of the ball feels like it's charged with electricity. Despite its smaller size compared to European giants, Parc des Princes still delivers one of the most contagious atmospheres in football. The steep, compact stands bring fans close to the action, creating a cauldron of sound every time Dembélé bursts down the wings. But with other major European stadiums like the Santiago Bernabéu and Camp Nou, pushing seating capacity and hospitality to never-before-seen levels, PSG's ambitious Qatari owners are determined not to be left behind, and especially so since the Parc des Princes has not had a major expansion in 50 years of use. And its seating capacity compared to major European stadiums leaves a lot to be desired. Compare it to the Camp Nou's 99,000 seats, or even Wembley's 90,000, and the Parc's 47,929 starts to feel, well, underwhelming. More seats mean more money, and Qatari sports investments, who bought PSG back in 2011, want to milk their cash cow as much as they can. Ever since they bought Paris Saint-Germain, the team went from little more than a domestic cup team to an European international force, winning 40 trophies and becoming one of the most popular football teams in Europe. Compare that to their biggest achievement before 2011, which was winning the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup in 1996, and the difference is day and night. And to emphasize that statement, PSG finally won the Champions League, becoming the first French club to win the treble and with a major candidate for the Ballon d'Or this year. They have the team. They now need a stadium to match their glory. So, to increase stadium revenue, QSI came up with the idea to increase the capacity from 47,000 to 58,000, an investment that would cost around 500 million euros. But here's where it all gets complicated. Expanding the Parc des Princes isn't as easy as writing a check and breaking ground. Unlike other stadiums we've explored on the channel, the Parc des Princes isn't privately owned. It belongs to the Paris City Hall. That means any expansion or major renovation doesn't just depend on the club's vision or finances, but also on navigating city politics, public approvals, and long negotiation processes with layers upon layers of local authorities. QSI has no problem expanding the stadium, but they don't want to pay for everything without actually owning it in the first place. So, to bypass all the hoops that management would have to jump through to expand the stadium, QSI simply went for the easier option: cash on hand. They offered 38 million euros to buy the Parc des Princes from Paris City Hall. But it looks like this option is out of the question now, and all due to one bitterest quarrel in football management history. Paris Mayor Anne Hidalgo replied to the purchase offer, "We opened the door to the possibility of selling the stadium to our club, because it's true that if you look at the economic model of the biggest clubs, almost all of them own their stadiums. But there are also prices that must be set and have to correspond to the property in question. Paris Saint-Germain offered 38 million euros for the stadium. It's ridiculous." The city of Paris felt too lowballed by QSY, and the rejection was final. So, what are their next steps? One option was the possibility of purchasing the Stade de France, an 80,000 capacity stadium in Saint-Denis. While this would indeed solve the seating capacity issue, it would also open a whole new can of worms. The Stade de France is currently valued at 647 million euros, 17 times more expensive than QSI's offer to purchase the Parc des Princes. And that's without adding the extra cost of having to refurbish this larger stadium, which could easily skyrocket the cost up to €1 billion or more. So, what did the Qatari overlords opt to do? Simple. If they were going to spend that much money already, why not just build a new stadium up to their standards, where they'd be its sole owners? And that's how we ended up with this bold new vision for the Paris Saint-Germain, a futuristic 90,000-seat stadium in 2 possible locations: Massy, just 15 kilometers south of Paris, or Poissy, west of the French capital. This would be the largest stadium in France and elevate PSG into another stratosphere of matchday experience. Inspired by elite venues like the renovated Bernabéu, proposed upgrades for this new stadium would include a retractable roof and pitch. QSI is working with world-class design talent, including Populous, the firm behind Tottenham Stadium, and French visionary Pierre Ferrer, to deliver something revolutionary. STEEPER stands for unmatched sightlines, immersive hospitality hubs, green zones, and high-tech innovation at every turn. The project will feature smart ticketing, AI-powered fan experiences, and real-time data integration. They've also mentioned integrated stores, on-site hotels, and sustainability. The stadium is being designed to be among the most eco-friendly sports venues in the world. The SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles is the main inspiration behind it. And considering how that stadium cost around €5 billion, well, that could mean PSG's new stadium could cost as much. The brains behind the new stadium project have mentioned SoFi quite a few times as a model to follow, and QSI has the money to back it up. If all goes according to their plan, this could be the most expensive stadium in Europe. Pulling the strings behind this ambitious new stadium project is PSG Labs, the club's official innovation hub, launched at Station F in March 2025. Of course, construction hasn't begun, because before the first brick is even laid, PSG faces a crucial decision: Massy or Poissy? Both suburbs are being considered for the club's potential new home, but make no mistake, this move wouldn't just shift the location, it will shift the fan experience, for better or worse. You see, Parc des Princes sits just off the périphérique, close to the heart of the city, surrounded by history, life, and legend. Massy and Poissy are not Paris. They're quieter, more residential, and lack the international pulse that runs through the French capital. Move the stadium 15 to 20 kilometers outside the city center, and suddenly the experience changes. Longer commutes, different crowd energy, less spontaneous atmosphere. For Parisians, part of the magic has always been that PSG belongs to the city. A match day means walking past cafes, through iconic streets with the Eiffel Tower often visible in the distance. That romantic, electric feeling is hard to replicate in the outer suburbs, no matter how modern the stadium. That means QSI has the task of making the new stadium so irresistible that fans won't want to miss out a game there. When complete, this stadium might even set a new benchmark for design across the globe. We will know where the new stadium will be finally located in November 2026. But what would happen to the Parc des Princes after this? The city of Paris and QSI's inability to come to an agreement on how much to sell Parc des Princes for has cost Paris its flagship football team. "It's over now," said PSG's president Nasser Al-Khelaifi in a statement on June 10th. In the meantime, the team will play Parc des Princes for the foreseeable future, and being honest, that's not a bad thing. For both international and local fans, stepping into the park feels like stepping into history. Generations of families have gathered on chilly Sunday nights to sing their hearts out for decades. It has witnessed World Cup qualifiers, last-minute wins in the Champions League, stunning League One title celebrations, and some of the finest goals in club history. In a city known for its iconic landmarks, the Parc des Princes holds its own. It may not be the Eiffel Tower, but for football lovers, it's just as sacred. And while Paris Saint-Germain is the primary occupant, the Parc des Princes also hosts other teams, and one will continue to play there even after PSG moves out. The PSG women's team is almost certain to remain at the Parc des Princes. Their continued use makes sense given the existing lease runs until 2044, and it's a smart way to preserve the stadium's legacy while keeping it active. So, as PSG looks to the future, the Parc will remain a symbol of everything that came before. The grit, the glory, and the Parisian pride that turned a club into a legend. But if you thought the story ends here, think again, because what's coming next might just blow your mind. It's a stadium not just built on the ground, but inspired by the sky? Yep. La Nube might just be the future of Spanish football thanks to its exclusive ultra-sustainability concept. Take a look at our next deep dive, because after it, you won't look at stadiums the same way again.